there. Accident waiting to happen. Thank you. So I suppose the first challenge I had in Communicate was to tell my children why I was coming to Bristol and why I was giving a presentation which was entitled Unusual Bedfellows, and then saying, don't go downstairs and tell your mother. I think the partnerships that we build from an RSPB point of view are fundamentally born out of two things. And that will then determine whether it's unusual or not. One is values and one is mindset. And I think from an organisational point of view and a personal point of view, we are very clear on our values. Nature has an intrinsic value. It has its place, it has its right to thrive and survive. But we also have a mindset. And historically, the conservation sector, I would argue, has had a mindset which is stop bad things happening. Now, personally, we have to stop bad things happening. However, I don't want to get up in the morning and simply do that. I want to put things back. I want to create hope. I want to show the art of the possible. I want to make things better. The state of nature, as was reported in 2013, said we are not winning. 60% of species that are monitored are declining or in severe decline. And as Ed says, we have to start thinking about doing things differently. And interestingly, the partnership that I'll talk about with my colleague Sarah this morning is born out of a mindset which is shifting to making a change. We have to recognise that humans need certain things, and those things are food, water, energy, infrastructure, and homes. And we're conscious of the people who are following me, probably cider as well. Those things are essential. So we have to think about, if we're going to have those things, how do we change the mindset so that we produce them where nature is integrated into their delivery, rather than stopping them happening or seeing them as a driver of bad things and creating that decline that I've talked about. Now, the partnership that we developed with Barrett Developments came about because people need homes and nature needs homes. We have to get that right, and also we have to recognise that we can't just simply work with those who are perfect already. And that's not to say that Barrett Developments aren't good, but it's more about the mindset of wanting to be better that creates the rationale for being a bedfellow in this type of partnership. If that mindset is correct, then actually what we're able to do is challenge each other to be better and get a little bit of that discomfort that Ed talked about. You also need a focus for the partnership. So we were fortunate enough that that partnership was generated from a big development that was happening outside of Aylesbury, in which nature had to take a key part in terms of that development going forward. If it wasn't taken into consideration, it wouldn't have happened, and therefore it wouldn't have had the opportunity that we created with Barrett Developments to deliver something which will be, over time, a step change in how we deliver houses going forward, in my view. It will create 50% of green space and infrastructure, and sitting in Bristol as the green capital, hopefully we will be creating housing developments that can aspire to that type of level of green infrastructure. The biggest threat to nature, and you guys will know this, is that connection to nature. And if we don't put nature into where people live and their everyday lives, then actually we won't create the conditions for success and delivering for what nature needs. And this is the rationale for why, basically, we may be unusual bedfellows, but actually we need to talk to anybody and everybody who is willing to both listen, learn, and learn with us. We don't have all the answers. And interestingly, as an anecdote, we walked into Barrett Developments and had a conversation with their technical manager and said, wouldn't it be great if every sixth house could have a Swift brick in order for Swifts to have somewhere to live? And he went, why do you want only one every six? It's much easier for us to create it in every house. our designs, you're complicating things. We were thinking we were asking too much. But until we'd had the conversation, we realised our demand was actually less than what the Swifts needed and more difficult for Barrett Developments to actually do. So the conversation actually helped to create something which will be much better for them, for us, and for the Swifts. And I'm going to stop there and hand over to my colleague, Sarah.
Okay.
I'll go to the other.
What we'll do is we'll bring up Sarah Pratt from Barrett Homes. You can talk about the partnership from their perspective. Then I will ask them some challenging and probing questions. And then we'll have our other speakers come up. And then I'll open it up to the floor. So do think about your own questions about what you would like to get out of these esteemed and experienced folk to share from their adventures in partnership together. So please put your hands together for Sarah Pratt from Barrett Homes.
Thank you, Darren, for that introduction, and Ed. Just a little bit about who Barrett Developments are, first of all, just to give you a bit of context. Barrett is in the business of building great places to live. We're actually the largest UK house builder by volume. 16,500 homes were built last year across the UK, from Portsmouth to Aberdeen. We also build schools, community facilities, sports centres, commercial properties. So all the things that Darren referred to in terms of the things that we need, people within the UK, to have comfortable homes, comfortable places to live. We're actually in a bit of a housing crisis at the moment. According to all the population statistics, we need 200,000 homes, additional homes, to be built every year. The government is right behind this, but that causes also some challenges. It causes challenges in terms of, have we got enough materials? Where are those materials going to come from to build all those homes? Where are we going to get the skills from? All those 350,000 people left the house building sector over the recession. We've got some really big challenges about where we get the skills from to actually build those homes. And also land. Where are those developments going to go? What land is that going to be built on? Is it going to be brownfield? Is there enough brownfield to build all of those homes actually on? And this is obviously going to create some very difficult conversations going forward, some very challenging discussions going forward, which will be very dear to all of your hearts, I'm sure. After the last recession, the previous chief exec led a new vision for Barrett, which is building excellence. Barrett Development wants to be seen as the leader in the house building sector. It doesn't want to follow. And that goes for how it designs the developments, how it actually goes about building those homes, the methods that we use to build them, because we need to become lower carbon, more efficient, faster at building, because we have to meet this housing need. You're all much more familiar, I'm sure, with the rises in house prices, issues around affordability of homes. All of those things are real challenges for our sector. So what kind of legacy do the homes that we actually build, what do we want to leave behind? How will our company to work differently in the future to make sustainable returns for shareholders? We're a PLC listed company on the FTSE 100. That's one of our primary objectives. That's a reality. That's what we have to deliver. So we have to look for partnerships that we can help to deliver that. Some of you may know the Hannam Hall development, which is down here in Bristol, which is an exemplar and has won many sustainable development awards. That was built by Barrett Developments. This year, we've just won a housing design award. Well, this year, we've just won the Sector Sustainable Developer of the Year award at last week's House Builder Awards. And we've won more housing design awards than any other housing developer put together. So we've got some really good credibility in this area. The partnership, in terms of the RSPB, as Darren has rightly said, came from the particular development at Aylesbury, which is a very large development, it's 2,500 homes. But the questions came after that, after working over a couple of years in the planning stages, why should we just do this in one place? Why should Barrett just do this in Aylesbury? Why isn't this relevant across all of our housing developments across the UK? There was a real opportunity that the RSPB saw in taking the learning from that, and obviously the relationship that had built up there between the RSPB and the project managers and the project directors and the people that were helping to design that development. They saw the opportunity for opening up that opportunity to take that into the business. I've only actually been working for Barrett Developments since May this year, but I've been working with them for a year before that as a consultant. So I might be a bit of a new kid on the block, but I've seen the development of this partnership. And what we've worked hard on is working out how on earth we translate something from one particular development and get it to be embedded across a whole business. We've got 5,000 people, we've got 27 divisions across the UK. We've got site managers that probably think that ecology is a bit of a pain because they have to do an awful lot of things, it costs them a lot of money to do certain things. That is the reality. We have got to work harder at saying that this is an opportunity and not a challenge or a restriction. So that's part of my role now, and we've got 7 partnership work streams that we work on with the RSPB, which were co-created. We have people accountable within our business talking directly to people within the RSPB. First of which was that we needed to recruit a biodiversity specialist. So we needed to recruit somebody alongside the RSPB who would work as the go-to person within our business for the partnership, and they would provide ecology advice. They would be the person that would help with internal engagement. They would be going around our divisions to talk about the partnership and how it could benefit each of our divisions, which are autonomously run business units. So there's a lot of characters and a lot of people to influence along the way. We also wanted to look for other exemplar developments that are coming through that we are bidding for. So in terms of we have to buy land to be able to build these homes on, and in those bids we can put in requirements around ecology. That's where the real creativity comes in. So we're looking for other exemplar developments across the UK. We're also working on existing developments that we may have already got some planning for, but we can already do more on. We can enhance that. And there are examples of those across the business. So there are negotiations going on in Sussex at the moment about restoration of a heathland, the formation of a country park. There's work going on reviewing ecology reports and looking at enhancements to green spaces over in the West Midlands. One of our show homes up in the Northwest was designed to an RSPB ecology biodiversity approved kind of design, and that received massive support from customers, because one of the objections has always been our customers don't really want this, they don't really ask for it. We've put it in, we've managed to get one of our managing directors to agree to put it in, and actually the customers loved it, and they loved the engagement that the RSPB did on a particular open day, and now they're going to spread that practice around the business. So that's a real big tick in the box in terms of the customers do love it. Let's do this. Let's do more of this. Can it be done within our existing budgets? Yes, it can. Let's take it forward. We're fully reviewing our design guides, our planting guides. We're actually reviewing what we're doing in terms of biodiversity action plans. We're actually also encouraging our employees to get involved with the partnership in various different ways. What we're trying to do is inspire people, enthuse people, how they can give nature a home. We've also given the RSPB some advice. So we've got a group procurement team, and our procurement team has worked with their procurement team, and we've identified some direct cost savings that can be made by using the discounts that we get from our suppliers, and that's identified £20,000 straight onto the bottom line, which is a direct benefit for ecology and biodiversity for the RSPB. And we're also working with the RSPB on how we demonstrate credibly the net positive approach that we've committed to. So how do we do that in a transparent and open way that ensures that our biggest critics, which are probably people in this room, can say, yes, Barrett Developments are doing this, and they are doing it well, and we can see that that's being done in a thorough, thought through and considered way. We're not going to agree on everything. I think that's the main premise. We're not going to agree on everything, but we have a conversation about it, and we can come up with other suggestions that we may be able to meet halfway. That means that we can give nature a home, but also we can build the homes that people in the UK need. Thank you.
Thank you.